Not too awfully, but
I really like
All right.
it. I've had it for a few years. It's pretty amazing.
Whoa.
Charlie, good job! Right? Oh my goodness.
ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಯುತ್ತಿದ್ದ ಎ ಫಾರ್ ಆಪಲ್, ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ ಬಾಲ್, ಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ವರ್ಣಮಾಲೆ ನೆನಪಿರಬಹುದು. ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಎ ಫಾರ್ ಅಮೀರ್ ಖಾನ್, ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ ಬಿಪಾಶಾ ಬಸು ಎಂದು ಬದಲಾಗಿ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಎ ಫಾರ್ ಆಂಡ್ರಾಯ್ಡ್, ಬಿ ಫಾರ್ ಬ್ಲೂಟೂತ್, ಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ಚಾಟಿಂಗ್, ಡಿ ಫಾರ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ತನಕ ತಲುಪಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯ ಭರವಸೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಟೀಮ್ ಪ್ರೇರಣಾ ಅರ್ಪಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಹೋರಾಟಗಾರರ ಆಂಗ್ಲ ವರ್ಣಮಾಲೆ ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಲುಪಲೆಂಬ ಆಶಯ ನಮ್ಮದು. ಪೋರ್ಚುಗೀಸರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಸಮರ ಸಾರಿ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲೂ ಜಲದಲ್ಲೂ ವಿಜಯ ಧ್ವಜವನ್ನು ಹಾರಿಸಿದ ವೀರವನಿತೆ ಉಳ್ಳಾಲದ ರಾಣಿ ಅಬ್ಬಕ್ಕ. ಇನ್ಕ್ವಿಲಾಬ್ ಜಿಂದಾಬಾದ್ ಘೋಷಣೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ಯುವ ಮನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಬೀಜ ಬಿತ್ತಿದ ಸರದಾರ ಶಹೀದ್ ಭಗತ್ ಸಿಂಗ್. ಮೇ ಆಜಾದ್ ಹೂ ಎಂದು ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯದಲ್ಲೇ ಘರ್ಜಿಸಿ ಸ್ವಾತ್ಮಾರ್ಪಣೆಗೈದ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಕಿಡಿ ಚಂದ್ರಶೇಖರ ಆಜಾದ್. ಆರ್ಯ ಸಮಾಜದ ಮೂಲಕ ಭಾರತದ ಏಕತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಆಂತರಿಕ ಭದ್ರತೆಗೆ ಪಣತೊಟ್ಟ ಮಹಾತ್ಮ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ದಯಾನಂದ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ತಜ್ಞ, ಸಮಾಜ ಸುಧಾರಕ, ಅಪ್ರತಿಮ ಸ್ವಾಭಿಮಾನಿ, ನವಭಾರತ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣದ ಪ್ರೇರಕ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಈಶ್ವರಚಂದ್ರ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಾಗರ್. ಸ್ವಾಭಿಮಾನದ ಗೌರವದ ಬದುಕು ಭಾರತೀಯರದಾಗಬೇಕೆಂದು ಆಶಿಸಿದ ಅದ್ವಿತೀಯ ವಕೀಲ, ಶ್ರೇಷ್ಠ ವಿದ್ವಾಂಸ ಫಿರೋಜ್ ಶಾ ಮೆಹ್ತಾ. ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಗುರು, ಮಂದಗಾಮಿಗಳ ಮುಂದಾಳು, ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕತೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಸತ್ಯಸಂಧತೆಯ ಪ್ರತಿರೂಪ ಗೋಪಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಗೋಖಲೆ. ವಿದೇಶಿ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದುಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಚಳುವಳಿಗೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳನ್ನು ಪ್ರೇರೇಪಿಸುತ್ತಿದ್ದ ತತ್ವಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದ ಮೇರುಶಿಖರ ಹರದಯಾಳ್ ಸಿಂಗ್. ಮಾತೃಭೂಮಿಯ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿಗಾಗಿ ನಡೆದ ಸಂಘಟಿತ ಹೋರಾಟದ ಫಲಶ್ರುತಿಯೇ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಆರ್ಮಿ. ಮೇರಿ ಝಾನ್ಸಿ ನಹಿ ದೂಂಗಿ ಎಂದು ಅಬ್ಬರಿಸಿ ರಣಾಂಗಣದಲ್ಲಿ ದುರ್ಗೆಯಂತೆ ಮೆರೆದಾಡಿದ ಸಾಹಸಿ ಝಾನ್ಸಿಯ ರಾಣಿ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀಬಾಯಿ. 19ರ ಹರೆಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತ್ ಮಾತಾ ಕಿ ಜೈ ಎಂಬ ವೀರಘೋಷದೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಗುನಗುತ್ತಾ ನೇಣಿನ ಕುಣಿಕೆಗೆ ಕೊರಳೊಡ್ಡಿದ ಧೀರ ಖುದಿರಾಮ್ ಬೋಸ್. ಸೈಮನ್ ಗೋಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಚಳುವಳಿಯ ಮೂಲಕ ಸಾವಿರಾರು ತರುಣರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯಿತ್ತ ಪಂಜಾಬಿನ ಕೇಸರಿ ಲಾಲಾ ಲಜಪತ್ ರಾಯ್. ದೊಡ್ಡ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ದಡ್ಡ ಮಗ ಪ್ರಾಣವನ್ನಲ್ಲದೆ ಮತ್ತೇನನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಹುದು ಎನ್ನುತ್ತಲೇ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ತುಂಬಿದ ಮದನ್ ಲಾಲ್ ಧಿಂಗ್ರಾ. ನನಗೆ ರಕ್ತ ಕೊಡಿ, ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೇನೆಂದು ಸಾರಿದ ಜೈ ಹಿಂದ್ ವೀರರವದ ನಾಯಕ ನೇತಾಜಿ ಸುಭಾಷ್ ಚಂದ್ರ ಬೋಸ್. ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗದ ಕಲ್ಲಿನ ಕೋಟೆಯನ್ನು ರಕ್ಷಿಸಲು ತನ್ನ ಕೊನೆಯ ಉಸಿರು ಇರುವವರೆಗೂ ಹೋರಾಡಿದ ವೀರವನಿತೆ ಓಬವ್ವ. ಬನಾರಸ್ ಹಿಂದೂ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯದ ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ದೇಸಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ನಾಂದಿ ಹಾಡಿದ ಪಂಡಿತ ಮದನ ಮೋಹನ ಮಾಲವೀಯ. ಕಪ್ಪ ಕೇಳಲು ಬಂದವರ ಬೆಂಡೆತ್ತಿ ನಾರಿ ಶಕ್ತಿಯ ಸಾಮರ್ಥ್ಯವನ್ನು ತೆರೆದಿಟ್ಟ ಧೀರಮಾತೆ ಕಿತ್ತೂರಿನ ರಾಣಿ ಚೆನ್ನಮ್ಮ. ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಕಾರಿ ಕವಿಯಾಗಿ ತರುಣ ವೃಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಗುರುವಾಗಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪ್ರೇಮದ ಗುರಿ ತೋರಿದ ಪ್ರಖರ ದೇಶ ಪ್ರೇಮಿ ರಾಮ್ ಪ್ರಸಾದ್ ಬಿಸ್ಮಿಲ್. ನಾಡಿನ ಮಾನಸಮ್ಮಾನಗಳ ರಕ್ಷಣೆಗಾಗಿ ಹುಲಿಯಂತೆ ಹೋರಾಡಿ ವೀರ ಮರಣವನ್ನಪ್ಪಿದ ಶೂರ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿವೀರ ಸಂಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ರಾಯಣ್ಣ. 1857ರ ಸ್ವಾತಂತ್ರ್ಯ ಸಮರದ ಮಹಾದಂಡನಾಯಕ, ಚಾಣಾಕ್ಷ ಕಾರ್ಯತಂತ್ರಗಳಿಂದ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ದಿಕ್ಕೆಡಿಸಿದ ಸಮರ್ಥ ಸೇನಾನಿ ತಾತ್ಯಾ ಟೋಪೆ. ಮಾತೃಭುವಿಯ ಸಂರಕ್ಷಣೆಗಾಗಿ ವರ್ಷಗಟ್ಟಲೆ ತಪಗೈದಂತೆ ಕಾದು ಗುರಿ ಸಾಧಿಸಿದ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ ಚಿಲುಮೆ ಉಧಮ್ ಸಿಂಗ್. 2 ಆಜೀವ ಕರಿನೀರಿನ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಗೆ ಗುರಿಯಾಗಿ ಜೈಲಿನೊಳಗಳೆಯೇ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ರಾಶಿಯನ್ನು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಸಿದ ಮೃತ್ಯುಂಜಯ ವೀರ ವಿನಾಯಕ ದಾಮೋದರ ಸಾವರ್ಕರ್. ಆದರ್ಶ ಗ್ರಾಮದ ರೂವಾರಿ ಸೈನ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಿಳಾ ವಿಭಾಗವನ್ನು ಪರಿಚಯಿಸಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರಿಗೆ ಸಿಂಹಸ್ವಪ್ನಳಾಗಿದ್ದ ರಣಸಿಂಹಿಣಿ ವೇಲು ನಾಚಿಯಾರ್. ಸಶಸ್ತ್ರ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಯ ಪಿತಾಮಹ, ಕ್ರಾಂತಿ ಪರ್ವದ ಅಂತಿಮ ಅಧ್ಯಾಯದ ಪ್ರಥಮಾಕ್ಷರ ಬರೆದ ಮಹಾಸಾಹಸಿ ವಾಸುದೇವ ಬಲವಂತ ಫಡ್ಕೆ. ಸೈಮನ್ ಗೋಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಕ್ವಿಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಚಳುವಳಿಯ ಮುಂದಾಳು ಗಾಂಧಿವಾದಿ ಯೂಸುಫ್ ಮೆಹರ್ ಅಲಿ. ಪತಿಯ ಅನುಪಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನು ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರ ವಿರುದ್ಧದ ಹೋರಾಟದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಕ್ರಿಯರಾಗಿದ್ದ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರ ಆದರ್ಶ ಜೀನತ್ ಮಹಲ್. ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, ಟೀಮ್ ಪ್ರೇರಣಾದ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನವಿದು. ಒಳಿತನ್ನು ಹಂಚೋಣ, ಭಾರತವನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಗೆಲ್ಲಿಸೋಣ. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಅಪ್ಪನು ಮಾಡಿದ ಚೌತಿಯ ಪ್ರತಿಮೆಗೆ ಆನೆಯ ಸೊಂಡಿಲ ಮೊಗವಿತ್ತು. ಅಪ್ಪನು ಮಾಡಿದ ಚೌತಿಯ ಪ್ರತಿಮೆಗೆ ಆನೆಯ ಸೊಂಡಿಲ ಮೊಗವಿತ್ತು. ಇಲಿಯನು ಏರಿದ ಯಾರಿದು, ಇಲಿಯನು ಏರಿದ ಯಾರಿದು ಎಂದೆನು ಈಶ್ವರ ಸುತನೆಂದನು ಅಪ್ಪ. ಇಲಿಯನು ಏರಿದ ಯಾರಿದು ಎಂದೆನು ಈಶ್ವರ ಸುತನೆಂದನು ಅಪ್ಪ. ನನ್ನಪ್ಪನು ಮಾಡಿದ ಚೌತಿಯ ಪ್ರತಿಮೆಗೆ ಆನೆಯ ಸೊಂಡಿಲ ಮೊಗವಿತ್ತು. ಉಮಾ ಕುಮಾರನ ಚೆಲು ಹಬ್ಬದ ದಿನ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರು ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು. ಉಮಾ ಕುಮಾರನ ಚೆಲು ಹಬ್ಬದ ದಿನ ಊಟಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದರು ಅತಿಥಿಗಳು. ಎಲೆಯನ್ನಿರಿಸಿ ಅನ್ನವ ಬಡಿಸಲು, ಎಲೆಯನ್ನಿರಿಸಿ ಅನ್ನವ ಬಡಿಸಲು, ಎಲೆಯನ್ನಿರಿಸಿ ಅನ್ನವ ಬಡಿಸಲು ಏಕಾಗ್ರತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರುಣಲು, ಏಕಾಗ್ರತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರುಣಲು. 5 ಬಗೆಯ ಸಿಹಿ ಭಕ್ಷ್ಯಗಳಿದ್ದವು. ಆಹಾ, 5 ಬಗೆಯ ಸಿಹಿ ಭಕ್ಷ್ಯಗಳಿದ್ದವು. ಒಗ್ಗರಣೆಯ ಹುಳಿ ಮೊಸರಿತ್ತು. 5 ಬಗೆಯ ಸಿಹಿ ಭಕ್ಷ್ಯಗಳಿದ್ದವು. ಒಗ್ಗರಣೆಯ ಹುಳಿ ಮೊಸರಿತ್ತು. ಓಡುವ ತಿಳಿ ಪಾಯಸವನ್ನು ಮೆಲ್ಲುತ್ತ ಔತಣದೂಟವ ಹೊಗಳಿದರು. ಓಡುವ ತಿಳಿ ಪಾಯಸವನ್ನು ಮೆಲ್ಲುತ್ತ ಔತಣದೂಟವ ಹೊಗಳಿದರು. ಔತಣದೂಟವ ಹೊಗಳಿದರು. ಔತಣದೂಟವ ಹೊಗಳಿದರು. ಅಂದದ ಬಲು ಅಂದದ ಅಂದದ ಊಟದ ನಂತರ ಅಡಿಕೆಯ, ಅಂದದ ಊಟದ ನಂತರ ಅಡಿಕೆಯ ಆಹ ಎಂದರು ಜನ ಸವಿಯುತ್ತಲೇ. ಅಂದದ ಊಟದ ನಂತರ ಅಡಿಕೆಯ ಆಹ ಎಂದರು ಜನ ಸವಿಯುತ್ತಲೇ. ಆ ಐ ಈ ಓ ಎ ಐ ಓ ಓ ಔ ಅಂ ಅಹ. ಆ ಐ ಈ ಓ ಎ ಐ ಓ ಓ ಔ ಅಂ ಅಹ. ಆ ಐ ಈ ಓ ಎ ಐ ಓ ಓ ಔ ಅಂ ಅಹ. ಗಂ ಗಣಪತಯೇ ನಮಃ, ಗಂ ಗಣಪತಯೇ ನಮಃ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗಣೇಶ ಹಬ್ಬದ ಶುಭಾಶಯಗಳು. ಈ ಶುಭ ದಿನ
Morning, Roshan. All right, class, settle down, settle down. Today's assignment is a little bit different to what we usually do. Today, I've got a question that I want you to answer. And the question is, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now, I want you to think about this very carefully. Answer it honestly. Don't worry about what people are going to think, because nobody else is going to see this. I do want you to think about why. Take your time and answer this honestly. Alright class, that's all we have time for today. Can I please have your sheets as you're leaving? Thank you. Very nice. Thank you. Well done today. Good job. Have a nice day. Thank you, Boomy. Thank you, John. Bye, Chand. John, can I speak to you for a second?
Yes, miss.
John, I think you've misunderstood the assignment.
Miss, I think you misunderstood life.
In the hope for money, in the hope for success, we end up chasing the wrong things and we make a mess. We end up with less than we started with, end up with more issues than we bargained for. Whilst climbing that ladder and that stairway, we forget why we started climbing in the first place. Once, the king of Bhutan was asked by an interviewer what the GDP of Bhutan was. He was surprised and shocked. He replied by saying, in Bhutan, we don't just measure the GDP, we measure the GNH. Instead of just measuring the gross domestic product, we measure gross national happiness. In the process of getting older, we forget the real goal of life. If you could make a little less and spend more time doing what you love, would that make you happier? Don't trade your happiness for what you think you need. Things can never make us happy because they're temporary and limited, but experiences can last forever. Too many people are working hard on things they don't love, to spend money they don't have, to buy things they don't need, to impress people they don't like. When we create our identity around what we do, a career, a job, an occupation, we can never be happy because we're basing it on something external. But when we create an identity around who we are and what we want to be and become, then anything is possible. And remember, we become successful by what we get, but we become happy by what we give. Don't get the two confused.
Your son is a failure. He's barely passing my class, and with grades like this, I'm just not sure what kind of future he's gonna have. What do you have to say for yourself? You're supposed to graduate this year.
Listen to Mr. Johnson. What kind of future do you think you're gonna have?
With all due respect, don't call me a failure. Failure is an event, not a person in fact. And you talk about the future, Mr. Johnson, but you're not preparing us for that.
Excuse me?
Just listen to what I'm saying.
This should be good.
Would you agree that in the future, most careers will become automated?
Yeah, so?
So the people who succeed will have to be curious, innovative, with resilience to adapt to new changes.
What's your point?
My point is, the focus in this school is not on that. It is on regurgitating information and test taking, and that's just real. But in today's world, creativity is the most important leadership skill.
Oh, that's how you feel.
You don't have to believe me, but maybe you will believe the 1,500 executives who recently said creativity is the most important leadership skill. See, pretty soon, no one will be hired because of what they know. Because who cares what you know or if you've memorized a fact? We've got Google and Siri for that. In the future, people will be hired because of what they can do with their knowledge. Can they creatively solve real-world problems, not just follow instructions or directions and bubble in multiple choice questions? So, Mom, that's why I'm stressed, because these robotic tasks we learn in school should stop. Because no one can do a robot's job better than a robot. Billionaire founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, said that we should not compete with artificial intelligence, but instead focus on developing unique human intelligence. Mr. Johnson, drills are for teeth, not the human mind. So these repetitive knowledge-based tasks we must leave behind. Or in the future, you're gonna find a lot of people graduating out of your class right into the unemployment line. See, many top companies today don't look at grades. Mom, that old way is expiring. Google has been quoted as saying GPAs are worthless criteria for hiring. Founder of Tesla, Elon Musk, agrees. So I say this with unease and sorrow. If you continue to teach today as you taught yesterday, then you rob us students of tomorrow. Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Sometimes sitting in your class is tough. I'm constantly thinking, if I don't look up at the clock, maybe it'll speed up. So I listen to you do my work and pay attention, feeling like an hour had to have gone by. But it was only 3 minutes. So if you wonder why we're bored in class, look, you want to get a kid to hate reading? Give them this, a school textbook. And some people think it's our fault, and that hurts me. They say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And to that I say no. Firstly, you can put salt in that horse's hay and make him thirsty. And if you bring joy in your classroom, you can make any bad student nerdy. As he or she discovers the beauty of truly learning. Mr. Johnson, I mean no disrespect. You have the most important job on this planet. You build, create, and save lives. But if you really care about my future, like you say, then you have to fully commit and ask yourself honestly, how do I prepare a child for a future that doesn't yet exist? Here's a hint. The answer is not found in this. It's using this and this. See, in the future, we will need more passion and compassion. People with inspired hearts and wisdom to uplift this planet. And Mom, I love you, but can I be real?
Go ahead.
You want to know one of the biggest factors for childhood success? It's not IQ. It's family meals. And we haven't had one of those in a while. See, I know sometimes you don't feel proud, because I may not be a straight A student, but I'm not stupid. These tests may be 70% of my grade, but they're 0% of my future. But don't worry, I'll pass this class and get through this. But I need you to give me the space I need to be me and live true. Because the best feeling in the world is that your own parents get you. There's a passage in a book called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. And if you don't mind, I'd love to share it with you.
Go ahead.
See, he says, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, they do not belong to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. So, Mom, I'd appreciate it if you give me the love that I need to pursue my dreams. See, if we are to succeed, all three of us need behavior change on all fronts. We talk about the future, but the future is now, and it is created now by all of us.
I've never heard you speak like that before.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But I'm going to reach out to administration and try to change some things. You have my word.
ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ ನೀವು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ ನೀವು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು 40 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಝೂಮ್ ಆಪ್ ಹಾಕಿ ನಾವು ಲಾಜಿಕ್ ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ನಾವು ಥಿಯರಮ್ ನ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಥ ಅಂತ ಪಿಪಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಾಕಿ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ಯಾಕೆ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬಾಗ್ಲು ತೆಗಿಯೋರಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ 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 ನಾವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಡಿ ನೀವು ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲಾರಿಟಿಗಂತ ಕಳ್ಸಿದ್ರೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೀವ್ ನೋಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತಪ್ಪೇನಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಪ್ಪೇನಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಪ್ಪೇನಿದೆ ಒಮ್ಮೊಮ್ಮೆ ಝೂಮು ಒಮ್ಮೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸ್ಕೈಪು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಲ್ದೆ ಮತ್ತೇನಿದೆ 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 ಒಳ್ಳೇದಲ್ಲ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇರೋಣ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಂತೂ ಖಚಿತ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೀರಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮೇಲೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ವಾ ನಾವು ಗೂಗಲ್ಲು ಕ್ಲಾಸು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ವಾ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬಾಗ್ಲು ತೆಗಿಯೋರಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ 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 ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಮ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೇಕು ಬರ್ಕುವಂತೀರಾ ಟೆಸ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ಪೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಫೈನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ತಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತೀರಾ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಬೇಡ್ವಾ ಪಾಸು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಬೇಡ್ವಾ ಈ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳೋಣ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್.
Hi, my name is Dr. Robert Anthony. I'm a child surgeon in Bangalore, but I'm here today talking as a parent and as someone who's very interested in the school system for our children. I recently saw a forward in one of the parents' groups, and I just want to read the first few lines so that you get the context of what I'm going to talk about. This is written by a parent with no name. It said that online classes by private schools has exposed the poor quality of teachers across the country. Parents are now able to see teachers teaching on a real-time basis, and we are shocked at the way the teachers communicate and teach. The poor pronunciation, spelling errors, the harsh tone of voice, and the lack of warmth and the lack of friendliness in teachers has outraged many parents. Questions are now also being raised about the high fees that they charge and the value delivered in return. I just want to share my thoughts on this. I'm a surgeon for more than 20 years, and I'm pretty good at the job that I do. But even now, when a parent requests me, when I'm about to operate on their baby, and they say, "Doctor, I want to come inside the operating theatre to see how the surgery is done on my child," the answer is a clear no. There are many times the parent is themselves a doctor or a nurse, and when they request it, most surgeons all over the world don't allow it. This is basically because no matter how skilled or experienced you may be in your job, doing it while being watched live changes the stakes, even for the most simple job. And as a parent, we teach our children at home in the evening for 1 or 2 hours, and teaching them one-on-one, I'm sure we're able to give a lot of warmth and keep a gentle voice and teach them as a one-on-one relationship. But even there, honestly, when I've tried it, I do end up raising my voice and being a little unfriendly to my child when he doesn't listen. Put yourself in a situation where you're handling 20 to 40 students. Even under one roof in the real classroom, it's not easy. But they've learned how to handle that. And suddenly now, they're having to teach 20 to 40 children online, each child in their own home, and most children having a parent sitting next to them, and the teacher knowing that they're being watched by these teachers. It is a different world. I'm not making excuses for some of the teachers who you saw. But I'm saying let's not tar all our teachers with the lack of respect for them. As about the poor pronunciation, trust me, in most of these prestigious tuition centers which teach our older children for IIT or the NEET or the other exams, most of the highly sought teachers are not the ones with the best pronunciation. They're the ones who are able to give their concepts clear to the children. In fact, the children prefer to listen to them because they're able to learn much faster. Even in my own work situation, there are some doctors who are terrible in their pronunciation. Trust me, terrible. And they come across quite rude as well. But their work is excellent. At the end of the day, in some professions, it is the end result which matters, not the presentation. I'm not saying that that it's an excuse, but let us be patient. And they are learning. And let's look at the whole picture which they're doing. Teachers in almost all the schools are generally trained professionals. If you have a doubt about their training, if you think that your school is employing untrained people, go check, double check, look for proof that they are trained. And they're trained in their subject, and they're trained in handling kids under one roof, under their direct supervision. They've not been trained in handling 40 children in different homes at a distance. Working from home comes naturally to some of your professions. It comes to the software people, it comes to maybe the call center people, or technical, financial people. It doesn't adapt itself to schools very easily or to hospitals very easily. I'm struggling. I'm doing online consultations now because of the corona period, and it's really hard. And I've tell my patients, I said, look, I can do this much on a telephone session with you, but if I can't figure it out, I'll have to wait till you come back, and then I'll check again. All I'm asking is, please don't put additional stress on these teachers who are learning. Some of them are not young and they've never done an online class before. Let's give them the patience. The future might well be homeschooling, because this might change the world of education completely. And I'm sure then that those of us who attach a lot of importance to the concerns which have been raised will be able to then do it from home and in a far better environment. And you are completely at liberty to choose this in the future. For now, don't be in a hurry. Don't be harsh. And in fact, the government of India has already provided the platform for open schooling, the NIOS, which will facilitate this in case some parents do move on to this, and they might well do it. There was an attempt to link this poor performance, as you perceive it, to the high fees which are charged by the school managements. If you have a concern with the fees, take it up with the school managements, or take it up as a parent body with your school management together. I'm sure the concerns are legitimate, but please don't drag our teachers into the fee issue. They are not part of that problem. They are not part of that issue. In fact, in this country, teachers are generally not paid well, and we have to really hang our heads in shame sometime that compared to the Western world, teachers may not be treated as well in this country. And therefore, to link the high fees to the teacher's pronunciation is a bit harsh. We come from a country where teachers are respected greatly, and Guru Devo Bhava is what we learnt with Corona probably is changing that. But I think that's because of the anxiety which everybody is facing. Our children are facing the anxiety. It's a world they've not understood at all, of not being able to go out or to meet their friends. They are in isolation at home without meeting their best friends and running on the field and getting their energy out. Our parents are under the same anxiety. Our work, our home situation, and the fear for our children's future. I'm sure the parents are anxious as well. That may be what is fueling some of this anxiety collectively. Our teachers also are at anxiety levels which are unparalleled before, because they are now learning to teach with every child having a parent like a helicopter hovering around the child. My honest suggestion, if your child is taking online classes, get them a headphone which shuts out the rest of the home environment. Let the child focus on the class. If you are next to the child throughout the lecture, your child is not going to focus on the class. He's also wondering what you're doing there. He's looking at your expressions, and if you hear something which you don't like and you shake your head in a disparaging moment, he will understand that, and he will also not pay respect to what he's learning.
Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Tasmai Shri